Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Thanks for joining Greg and I for the Local Marketing Institute Q&A live starting
Boom.
soon now. So thank you for joining us. Happy Friday. As all usual, I am joined by my glorious co-host, Greg Gifford from Search Lab Digital. You can reach him on Twitter, now X or whatever,
Well,
at
forever.
Greg Gifford. Yeah, and I'll be in there until it's dead,
Yep.
basically. And me, Ben Fisher, your host, steady demand, and at the social dude. Don't ask, just don't ask. All right. You can reach Greg and I and our over 2,400. I have to go take a little look and see what it's currently at. Members, probably more than 2,400 on Facebook, where we will be there to help you with any kind of questions you have. And also, a lot of our loyal listeners are there all the time answering questions too. So feel free to join us on Facebook, which is not called X. All right. And then, of course, if you want Greg and I in your ear every other week or whenever you really want us, you can get us. The Local Marketing Institute podcast is on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, where we rank number one in a country we won't say. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, get us on the go. And with that, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well. Before we came on, we were in the green room talking, and we're both going to Disney next week, so I can't really complain about life at all. And we're not going together, though. I'm going West
No,
Coast, he's going East Coast, but we're both going to nerd out at Disney next week, so it's
exactly.
a pretty good weekend.
Exactly. And I'll be buying my first lightsaber. I would say first lightsaber. Who knows? We might have a sword wall going back up again sooner or later. Just might do it. We'll see. What's
You
up,
should do it,
James?
man. I miss
Hey,
all this.
Trisha. I know. They're just like sitting in my closet right now, which sucks. I think I'll probably throw them on the wall. Yeah, I think I will. Hey, what's up, Mark? Thank you. Um, yeah, yesterday talking about SGE was fun. Crystal and I were geeking out on Search Generative Experience yesterday. So
I'm so bummed I was busy and I couldn't sit and just watch all the sessions because there was it was such a killer lineup of so many awesome people. But man, I got work to do. I couldn't. I mean, I guess I can go watch replay stuff, but it just would have been cool to like be there all day or have it on. But man, I was just way too busy.
yeah, I will definitely be replaying it. That's something I'll be doing for sure.
And we got
Um,
local U coming up soon too.
yeah, we do. I'm not going to make it to local U this time.
Yeah, I'm not either. I was gonna try to go.
Yeah,
I was traveling way too much the next 2 months.
yep, same thing. Passport issues plus, crazy stuff. So, all right. So let's get into the meat of things. All right. Let's go take a look. See over here. For you all who are listening, you don't know this, but Greg and I, we have an Asana board that we use to keep track of all the questions and the things that we're going to talk about. And so I'm just locating that right now. And unfortunately, all right, there we go. All right. So just getting started. We'll start with the news, Greg.
I thought you were doing the news. I
Oh,
was over
yeah.
here typing out a message to let everybody know. Put your questions in the Q&A section.
Yeah, but you got to do the sound effect, dude.
Oh yeah, geez, I'm sorry. It's news time.
And then you get the Greg dance with that too, of
I am
course, by the
so
way.
I get a buzzer for forgetting that.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we're just going to go straight down into it. So, one of the cool things as far as news goes this week is that we have social media profiles on your Google business profile. I was trying to find out exactly when social profiles actually first started showing up on your GBP KP. And I could go back as far as 2019, but I couldn't find anything before that. So I think it's been since 2019 that you have had the ability to see social media profiles on your GBP, but you have not been able to control them. So they would just kind of show up. They were a feature of search and not local. and everybody was frustrated. Like, how can I control this? And people are like, well, let's try schema. Let's try JSON. Let's try praying to the Google gods. People thought that schema was the answer, and so that kind of became dogma. But it never worked, at least not for most. Well, now that I would say we're probably at 80% right now, but it's pretty much rolled out to everybody in the world, almost everybody. It's getting there. And you're able to easily add your social profiles. I do want to give everybody a warning, and that is that we asked Google about this. And if these URLs are treated just like any other URL, it's under contact, John. Yes, edit profile contact. But these URLs are treated just like any other URL. So as you know, if you edit a URL or if you change a URL on your profile, like your website URL, you can get suspended. Well, guess what? Social media profiles can also get you suspended. Make sure that the experience is what a user is expecting before you add. So in other words, if you are Macy's, you don't want to add a Target social media profile. All right. What do you think about that, brother?
Thank goodness they finally let us dictate what goes there. It makes more sense and makes it easier for people to just say, hey, I want this, instead of trying to jump through a bunch of hoops that you heard about on TikTok or YouTube that don't actually work.
Right. All right, cool. So next piece of news that we've got is around Google's Search Generative Experience. So with this, basically the update just is that, well, hey, Search SGE finally has actually good links. And it's like in this little drop-down accordion, basically. So drop-down links, I don't know if you want to call it that. But these little drop-down links basically are not necessarily citations for where they got the answer for SGE, but it's more along the lines of, this is information that backs up what we're saying. So because you will find stuff in there, like you'll do a local search and it'll have something for a local business, but you go to that page and there's nothing wrong on there about it. Exactly. It's fucking, it is what it is. And the other thing is that's kind of neat is that SGE is also, as you know, is a beta, opt-in beta. It's only available in the United States. As of yesterday, they went ahead and they launched it to Japan and India. What's important about this is that Google usually will do its groundbreaking testing in India because of the pure number of people that are there, also the technology level. So everything starts in India. Well, it started in the United States this time. Now it's in India. What does this mean? It just means it's closer to public launch. However, well, you know what? We're going to answer that later. So, yeah. So I'm not gonna spoil that answer. All right. So anyway, cool stuff if you're into SGE at all. Next piece of news. Okay. There is a bug with photos for desktop users. Basically, you try to add a photo and you can't. Just gives you an error. Try it on mobile. It might actually work if you are suffering from this bug, but Google knows about it and they are addressing it and they're working on it. So it should be fixed hopefully very soon. And I think that is all for the news, man.
And so it is time to get to the questions. We do have a couple of questions coming in, but Christy's actually cheating because Christy just gave us a question in the Q&A that was already submitted and we're already planning on answering. So we need some questions from everyone else. Get your questions in there, or I already put it in chat. If you've got a website or a GBP with a problem or an issue, or just in general that you would like us to audit or troubleshoot live, drop it over into Q&A and give us a quick note about what your specific issue is or what the thing is you'd like us to look at. We've done this a couple times in the past where we've audited this stuff live. It's gone over really well and people have loved it. But in the next couple of weeks, we don't get any sites to do. So it's always fun for us to do that kind of on the fly. Drop stuff in if you're having anything that's frustrating or something you'd like us to look at. But for now, it is time to move on to the first question for you, my friend.
Oh,
This
great.
is from, let's see if Liz is here. Liz isn't here. We did so well last time where everybody that pre-submitted questions was actually here to hear the answer. Liz, hopefully you're watching or listening on the replay and you get your answer to this. But Liz's question, the subject was adding and creating new listings in GBP. Oh, well, Liz is here. Well, all right then. So hopefully you're not listening later because it's awesome that you're here now. So the question that Liz asked said, or was, for the past few weeks, when I attempt to either claim an existing location or create a new one in the GBP dashboard, I'm directed to a page about, quote unquote, manage the limit of businesses per account. This is happening for both bulk verified accounts and those that are not bulk verified, whether trying to add a single location or bulk upload. Is this a bug or a new way of doing things for Google? And if it's a new way, how are you able to add new locations?
Gosh. All right. This is fun. This is A, it is not a new way of doing things for Google. B, this is not a bug. Let me tell you what it is, because this is actually a very old problem. This started back in the Google Plus days, by the way.
And you totally missed a chance for comedy here. You could have been like, well, actually, the problem here is that, Liz, Google just doesn't like you.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
But, I just want to do comedy and actually try to help people.
We have to be funny.
She said very possible.
All right. So basically, this is actually at the Google account level error. So in other words, it has nothing to do with your agency account. It doesn't have to do with your bulk upload, accounts at all. So it has nothing to do with any of those. It actually is at the Google account level. So your Google email address, that could be an agency or it could be your bulk. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever's trying to actually do the creation. So what's ended up happening is that this is especially with bulk, is that when you have a bulk account, you usually start off that bulk account with X number of sites, however many number of sites are published, right? So let's just say for grins and giggles, that number is 20. Well, what a lot of users will do is once they get their magical bulk account, it's like, yeah, I can get the locations online in 7 seconds. Oh my God. It does feel magical, by the way. They'll go ahead and they'll add like 100 locations, like literally the day after they get verified. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, by the way, but I'm just giving some backgrounds. So anyway, so what'll happen is that there's an imbalance between the number of verified profiles that you have and the number of new profiles that you're trying to create. So let's say you had this, again, that 20, and now you're trying to add 100. It makes zero sense for you to go from 20 locations to 120 locations in 1 week. Nobody can build that fast. So what Google does is they will start to throttle your account. It's not by the way, it's not always based on that percentage level, by the way, just so you know. But that's one thing I have been able to find out, at least with mine. Anyway, so now that they're throttling your account, your next logical question is going to be well, how long am I throttled for? Is this horrible? No, it's not horrible. It's just what it is. So basically, usually we'll have to wait a week from the day, add on to that to the Monday. So if it starts happening to you on a Wednesday, you're going to have to wait till not the first Monday that comes across, but the next Monday that comes across. And then you should be able to actually start adding new profiles. The problem is that you don't want to do a bulk upload unless, again, you're trying to maintain this kind of golden ratio. I would actually just wait to that Monday, try one. If you're successful, great. Try another. If you're successful, and just kind of rinse and repeat and basically see if you're clear. Another alternative, have somebody else do it. Have somebody else add the locations for you. They should be able to. Your third option, if you're working with bulk, you might have the capability of using the API. If you do have the ability to use the API, that's another way around it because the API uses a completely different Google user, with whatever's registered for the API. So basically, use that. We do that too, by the way. So hopefully that answers all your questions. And if not, do you have any follow-up questions for that really quickly, Liz? No? All right. We got to thank you very much. All right. So sounds like it's problem solved, hopefully.
Boom.
All right. All right, my friend, over to you. So we have a question from Christy. Hi, Christy. So Christy's asking about Google unverifying practitioner listings. The question is for you. This is for a new client who's an ophthalmologist. A couple of months ago, she did a live chat with Google from the office where she showed exam rooms, etc. They verified the listing. However, after a few months, the pictures were removed from the listing. The profile was changed to unverified. She again did a live video recording for the instructions at both locations where she works. Google said it'll be 5 to 7 days before they verify it. It's been way over that timeline. Currently, the only option for verification is video. We don't have a copy of the video as it was a live chat. What do you think?
Man, we're getting all these questions today where it's just specifically that Google doesn't like you is the answer. No, actually. This is really something you're just going to have to go to support. It's most likely that there was some sort of a problem with that video verification. Just go right to support. Say, it looks like Ben's switching. I guess the AirPods weren't working that well. Ben, can you hear?
Ben can now.
Hear. Oh, he can now. Looks like Ben's having some technical difficulties, but yeah. So most likely the video verification had some sort of an issue. So you just need to talk to support and let support know that you're having this problem, and support will get you re-verified and hooked up.
Yeah. And of course, as always, if that don't work, come to the community.
Yep.
Although it's kind of hard for us to help you with verification stuff.
We have a question from you. Let's see if Danielle's here. I love lately how everybody's here to get the answers to their questions that they had beforehand. So Danielle is here, and Danielle's question is about doing Google posts. And Danielle's even so excited she put woohoo in the chat. Man, this is a great Friday. So Danielle's question is, lately...
Wait, whoa, hold on. Can we get a woohoo sound effect?
We should get one for sure.
I think we should. Yes. And then anytime
the closest I've got right now is
I know, but I'm just saying it's like anytime somebody in the chat goes woohoo, we should sound off woohoo. Just saying.
So lately Danielle has been unable to add pictures to Google Posts. The error that comes up regardless of the photo says transfer encountered too many consecutive failures. Any idea why this keeps occurring?
This sounds like it might actually be related to the bug. It sounds like it. What I would say is try it on mobile real quick. And we can circle back towards the end of the show. But try it on mobile and see if it works. It might. Otherwise, it might be the bug. So what I would say is in this circumstance is definitely come to the Google Business Profile community, open up a thread, and then one of us can go ahead and escalate it for you. And Google can take a look at it, make sure you include, of course, your Google Business Profile ID and an example post or an example image that we were trying to use. All right. Now this one, Greg, is for you. Now this is with Danielle. So let's see. Is Danielle, and Danielle's here, by the way. 3 for 3, man.
All
right. This one's about the Google Chat feature. Hey all, So I have a
Wait,
listing.
Danielle's got 2 questions in a row. Is
Does
Danielle
she?
anonymous?
Wait a minute.
Oh, is Danielle anonymous?
Oh.
Ooh. I think that's some compelling evidence.
I
Maybe. We'll see.
don't know. Danielle, are you earning that you are actually the anonymous attendee? Just we have to know.
Hey, just a reminder to everybody, if you've got questions, make sure you put them down in the Q&A section, not in the chat, because things get buried in the chat as people continue to go, and it's really hard for us to scroll back and see what we have and haven't gotten to. So for those of you, a couple of people have just dropped some questions in Q&A or in chat. Make sure you drop them down in Q&A. And
Please,
now
please.
We'll get to Danielle's question, since she obviously wants to monopolize the day-to-day.
Yeah, I know, double dipping and all. So, okay. So, hi, all. It should be hello, y'all. So, I have a listing that I've enabled chat, that has had chat enabled for years now. Works fine. I get messages. I'm able to see the chat button on the listing from my phone, but from my browser, but my boss cannot. He's logged into Gmail when looking at the listing. So, why can he not see it? Basically, why can he not see it? But I can.
Again, fits with the theme of the day. I think Google just doesn't like your boss.
Yeah.
No, really, it actually doesn't function that way. It's pretty much it shows or it doesn't show. It doesn't show selectively to some people rather than others. So honestly, I don't know what might be happening there. I would have him go to support and show some screen captures to say, hey, look, I'm not seeing this. What might be wrong? I honestly don't know what the issue would be there, because it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, and I agree. Not to mention, I guess you could also tell him to freaking log out of his account and go look that way.
Or try incognito and see if it shows up that way. Like,
yeah,
who knows what might be going on.
But like Greg said, it just doesn't function that way. That's just not the way it is. So, yeah, that's strange. Okay.
All right. We can move on to the next question.
Excellent.
It's from Syed, who is
not here.
But I don't have I do. But hopefully Syed's watching or listening later. And the question is, imagine, this is like Discord for Midjourney.
Right.
Imagine a business that offers multiple services across different areas. What strategies can they use to concentrate multiple services on the same location pages? And the same services are needed to be focused on pages as well. So I'm assuming he's saying, when he's saying same location pages, he's talking about Google business profiles, but then he's also talking about pages of the website, but I'm not quite sure.
I think this is
here to clarify, so let's just kind of take.
I think it's a location page question, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of how it reads. So, and Greg and I were talking about this in the green room. We share a client together. This is a franchise, and so basically the kind of the stuff that we do for them applies here, and it pretty much should apply to anybody who has multiple locations, multiple services. And that is that, yes, of course, you have your GBP. Yes, you have your landing page, which is an internal, say, a subfolder, right? But then what you do is you will have your service pages, right? And these are going to be basically the same service pages per each franchisee, right? Different content, of course. But then you have location pages.
Yep.
And so let's say you have a Tempe page, an Avondale, a Glendale page, a Scottsdale page, etc. Right? These are the areas that you serve. So you would write the content for those pages, and then you would link to those core service pages. You wouldn't create more service pages, which for every single area that you service, it's crazy. Unfortunately, a lot of people still do this to this very day. But I think that's the answer that we're looking for here.
Well, but it depends on what areas he's talking about, because you're listing a bunch of stuffs that are all basically Phoenix area. he may be talking about we're in a bunch of different cities that are geographically separate. And that answer might be a little bit different. In that case, you may want to create multiple service pages, because if you're trying to target like Dallas and Denver, then you probably need to have two separate sets of service pages there. But like Ben said, you don't want to say, well, I serve every city in the state of Texas, and you're going to make your 5 service pages for thousands of cities. Like, that's
right.
not gonna work for you.
Exactly. All right. All right. The last question that we have is from Nico, and this is for you. And
Nico's not here either.
Nico, dude. You know what? I'm going to blame this on Saeed. I'm sorry. Saeed broke the rhythm, man. You know.
Yeah. We just screwed up, man.
Thanks, Saeed. Oh, man. Okay. That means you have to show up next week or next time we come together. I'm just saying. Speaking of, I mean, it's like, whoa, you're not going to be here actually in 2 weeks, right?
I will not be here in 2 weeks. You'll
be here in 4 weeks.
Brighton, speaking of Brighton SEO.
But you'll be here in 4 weeks, I think, right?
I will be here in 4 weeks.
All right. Okay. So next 2 weeks from now, we will have a guest host, most likely the wonderful Amy Toman. All right. So this question is for you from Nico. It is about the Google new Search Generative Experience. So with this, hi. Do you have any idea when Google is likely to release the new Search Generative Experience engine to the world and the general public? I'm eager to find out how it will affect local SEO results and how to best prepare my clients. I currently don't have any access because, well, I live outside the US.
Yeah, this one's easy to answer. Don't freaking worry about it, because we're years and years and years away. This is 100% a very early beta test. And as of right now, it still makes up way too much stuff. And you're outside the US, so you don't have access to see it. But for those of us that do, it literally changes pretty much on a daily basis with the things that they are tweaking in there. So there's no way to prepare your clients for it, because things that are there today aren't there tomorrow, or things that weren't there today are there tomorrow. You know, we just led the show talking about how they just added links into it. So it's way, way, way too early to start worrying about what you're going to do to optimize for this whenever this goes out to the public, because it is a long, long, long time till that's going to happen.
Yeah, what I would recommend to you, Nico, is a couple of different things. Number one, get yourself a VPN. Just saying, get yourself a VPN, and that way you can set yourself to the United States, India, or Japan, depending on your language that you can speak. And you can go ahead and sign up basically for the new generative experience that way. Another thing I'll suggest is we just got done recording a local SEO for good with Bright Local. And the last session on the second day was me and Crystal Tang and from Uberall, and we discussed this very topic. But Greg is 1,000% correct. And the fact is that as of literally 72 hours ago, I was seeing a 5-pack localized result with Search Generative Experience. Somebody said that they saw a 10-pack for SGE a week ago. I'm serious. It's like I've had this 5-pack for like a month or two, something like that.
They might bring back the carousel. Remember the carousel?
Oh my God, yeah.
What a train wreck that was.
Yeah, no, right? But either way, I mean, the thing is, it's gone. So you can't prepare for something which is not solidified yet. So, but, you know, one of the takeaways that we did get for this is that, you know, SEO hasn't traditionally, technically changed much over the last 20, 30 years. It really hasn't. What you did back in the 90s and early 2000s still works to this very day. The core principles. And so if you look at the fact that you have the helpful content update, you know, that basically that SGE is answering questions when people have them and summarizing them. Well, guess what? I'll bet you dime per dozen is that content is going to be important. Well, guess what? Content's important now. And if you're not suggesting that to your clients now, I've got to wonder what you're doing. So anyway, not saying that, just saying. But anyway, I wouldn't worry about it. Actually, that's all.
I
Period.
kind of feel like this is like the big thing back like 5-6 years ago when everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, voice search is coming out. How do we optimize for voice search?" And like, you don't do anything differently. Like, you do SEO.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Now it's that time. We're halfway through the show, so it's time for everyone to come on down for live questions. And my mouse is being weird. Hold on. What the heck?
Greg has a weird mouse.
Why won't it? Oh, I can't do the sounds because the app's. Hold on. Let me close the app and open it back up. We can't do it without the sound.
No, we have to have the sound.
All right. I'll open it back up.
That is right.
Like, my mouse was like, no matter what, it was selecting stuff. It wasn't like letting me click on anything. But anyway, back to 20 seconds or 30 seconds ago. It's time for everybody to come on down with live questions. Oh, man, I'm going to stop that. It's totally bumming me out because Bob Barker just died.
Yeah, I know. And the price is wrong. I'm just saying. The price is wrong, Greg.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. We all grew up with Bob.
We'll just go ahead and go right to live questions. Okay.
All right.
So the first one is from James and is asking if we have seen this screen before. He hasn't seen it for his clients. Maybe it's new. And he's got a link there, which if we pull it up, is asking about adding in information for autocomplete in addresses in maps.
Yeah. So if I recall what this feature actually is, this is just Google's way of embedding a map onto a web page. It's literally just giving you the iframe copy, right? I remember this. I mean, it came out like 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
No, I don't think that's what this is.
You don't think so?
No, this is new, I'm pretty sure. We might have to ask Barry, but I think if we ask Barry right now, he would say,
"Yep, it's new."
It's showing up in the profile editor, and it's asking you to give some parameters that will help Google autocomplete your address as people type it in.
Interesting.
Which Google should be able to do already anyway, so I'm not sure. I saw it yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to play around with it to see what it actually does or what it's asking for, but I did see it when I was in a client's
Okay.
TV
All right. Okay. That sounds useless. Okay.
Yeah. So, James, we can't really answer your question. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. All right. So this one's from Christy.
No, it's not.
You sure?
Yeah. Christy asked us this. Oh, we just answered this earlier.
Did we? All right.
This was the one about the
you can't double dip. No double dipping allowed.
Yeah, Christy was impatient and didn't know that we were coming to do it. So,
jeez. All right, fine. Where's Christy? Bad Christy. Just kidding. We're moving on. Ask another question though, please. All right. So this one's from Trisha for you. If a business has several locations, 5, not a franchise, and they all have the same social media links, not separate for each locations, is that going to be an issue of having the same links on all 5 GPPs? I think I know the answer to this. Go for it.
I would say no. I don't really know because they've just added the ability for us to go in and specify, but I've seen lots of situations in the past where Google was just selecting the profiles to show, and it would show the same profile in situations like this. And is Google really going to care? Because if you're Starbucks, you're not going to have a separate Facebook account for every Starbucks location. It doesn't make sense.
I think they do actually, but
really?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's pretty common in the franchise.
Starbucks. If you're listening, that's kind of silly.
It's common in the franchise world, which is what Starbucks would fall under, right? So, but McDonald's
this is not a franchise. This is 5 locations of a regular non-franchise business.
Yes. So I'm going to basically put it this way, really simply. Like I was saying, is the URLs have to follow the guidelines, specifically the website guidelines. And as we all know, it is very acceptable to have 5 GPPs that point to www.mybasketweaving.com. Okay. It's not a problem at all. It's the same business. So given that we can do that now without a penalty, I would say that there's not going to be any issue at all.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. So next one, what do we got?
Next one is for you from Maria, and Maria asks what your thoughts are about practices investing in creating and maintaining practitioner GBPs. Pros and cons, please. This is obviously in the healthcare and medical field.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. So, Ray, the answer for this is pretty simple. It is more advantageous for you to have a practice listing versus a practitioner listing. The reality is that when somebody is looking for a doctor, they're going to usually look for the practice. The pro or the con is that beyond that, is that now you're managing tons of multiple pages. Some practitioners bounce between locations, which means now you have to start really reining in the hours because you can only have the hours set for when they're actually there. Reviews are now getting distributed across multiple areas. And the worst of all is that, and you're not going to like this answer, but it is what it is. And that, or I should say your practice will like the answers. The practitioners won't. But Google prefers practitioner profiles over practice profiles. And so therefore you may get, say, let's say an anesthesiologist or something like that, outranking, potentially whatever the practice they work for. But guess what? There might be multiple of these practitioners that work for this location, but only one practitioner is going to win. So it's not really, it's not good, I guess, is really what it comes down to. And then it starts causing all sorts of issues, by the way, because it can cause suspensions. The practitioner listing can suspend the practice. What do you think, my friend?
This is definitely something that we say to clients all the time. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
It's, again, being cheesy. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Usually it's not. You're exponentially multiplying the amount of work that you're going to have to do for little to no benefit and increasing the potential headaches that you're going to have. So we got a lot of healthcare clients. We typically don't do practitioner listings for that very reason.
Yep. And Stephen asks a little follow-up question. Can a practitioner have multiple profiles at different locations?
Wait. Stephen, we're not answering your question because you didn't put it in Q&A. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So anyway, and the answer is yes, you can. But again, you have to go by the rules. And that is you have to turn hours off when they're not actually there at one of those locations. So if they go from town A to town B, well, now you've got to go to town A and you got to shut it down, turn it off, the hours, and then turn the hours on in the other one. You want to do that every single day that they travel? Have fun.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So, oh wait, the next one's for me. You're asking me this one.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Okay. All right. So I was reading in chat. Thanks, everybody. No. All right. So John John Penino. Penanino? Yeah. John Penanino has a question for you. Hey, guys. Hypothetical question. So in other words, insert imagine into this. I'm just saying. All right. How do you optimize your secondary categories so you will rank for those associated terms for near me? For example, say I'm a okay. For example, say I'm a store similar to a Sam's Club. What? Wow, you're a store? That's cool. Okay. No, where the primary category is warehouse store. Interesting. And second categories are, yeah, okay, bakery, electronics store, grocery, etc. I find these stores don't rank well for grocery near me, furniture store near me, electronics store near me. Having the secondary categories and offering these things, what's the answer to optimizing for this? Ad services, website SEO? Thoughts?
Whoa. Yeah. I'm Man, I feel like I'm more of an odd duck with this, but I hate optimizing or trying to optimize for near me. Because as soon as someone says, I want this thing near me, they're explicitly telling Google they want something that is close to their physical location. So if there's not a lot of competition, sure, knock yourself out. But if there's a lot of competition, you're not going to show up if you're on the other side of town just because you try to optimize for near me with content on your site. Like all these stupid businesses naming their business ER near me or dentist near me, it just doesn't work that way. So I wouldn't worry so much about that. Plus, people don't really tend to search for this thing near me. They just search for this thing or this thing in a city. But yeah, if you're a store like Sam's or Costco, you got to be like Sam's or Costco and spend millions of dollars on SEO and SEO the crap out of your website to show up for that. People tend to forget that when it comes to local SEO and visibility, it's not just what's in your Google business profile. If you look at the local search ranking factors that were released in March that Darren did, literally the second most important thing beyond Google business profile signals is website content signals. So yeah. You got to have that stuff on your site. If you only have grocery store on your GBP and you don't have grocery store on your website, Google's not going to show you for that. So you got to do some work there, and also kind of at a higher level, if you're trying to compete with Sam's or Costco, good luck unless you got a really big budget.
Yeah. And so also you got to think about the guidelines, right? The guidelines state use as few categories as possible. So number one, right? It's not a hard rule, but that's what the guidelines state. But the guidelines also state who you are, not what you do. Now, it's a little bit different maybe for a Sam's Club or a Costco, right? But the rule is this, is that you basically, I mean, I see the conundrum that he has here, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it does make sense, right? Because like a Costco or Sam's Club, they do have not necessarily an individual business unit for bakery, but they do actually have a bakery.
Right.
Not no, it's not really an electronics store. No, and it's not really
have an electronics department, but it wouldn't. Here's something to ask you, and I don't know that we've ever talked about this before. Darren calls it category confusion, but the thought process being if you're a business that has several categories that apply, and then you add another category that's not related to those categories at all, the supposition is that causes confusion, causes problems, and potentially hurts your visibility. Darren's done several tests that show that happens. If you add some wacky category completely unrelated, you do lose some visibility. Now, whether that really happens in the real world or not, the way that I always like to talk about Google at the simplest level is that it's pattern detection. And it would seem to make sense, whether it happens in the real world or not, it would seem to make sense that if you're a restaurant and you put chauffeur service or something like that on your profile, that's probably not going to help you and potentially could hurt you. And in this situation, for this hypothetical question, we're talking about grocery store, bakery, electronics store, and furniture store. And like those are really different business types.
Well, very, very different business types.
So it's going to be difficult to show up for all of those different things. If your primary category is warehouse store and you've got a single website and a single GBP, it's going to be really difficult to show up for all those different things. Again, unless you're Sam's or Costco and you've got millions of dollars to spend on SEO.
Now, I would say this is test it. Test it. It doesn't hurt to test. I mean, yes, you add categories and you add subcategories, you can get suspended, of course, right? But try it. Also services. The services section, you can add custom services and they will help you rank within 72 hours. Okay. So why not add bakery stuff? Add electronic stuff.
If you're saying you're a warehouse store and all these other things, adding electronics or furniture to services probably isn't going to be enough to get you to rank for those terms.
Not necessarily.
especially if you don't have the content on your site that backs up the fact that you sell furniture.
Well, now that's a different story, right? If the website doesn't back up what you put into services, it's not going to help regardless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, John, no on products, because groceries are not products technically. Either are I guess electronics are. Yeah, you could add products actually. Yeah, you could.
But you couldn't put electronics store as a product or general
Right.
electronics as a product.
You would have electronics
You have
as
to
a
list the
category.
actual products.
Right. Exactly. So, as far
Seating
as
departments, I don't know. Like, I know Walmart and stuff can set departments up, but if you're like a one-off random guy, I don't think you'd be able to set up departments for the various areas of the store
no,
because
not
you don't
all.
meet the guidelines to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's like having different business profiles. Not allowed. All
All
right.
right.
Cool.
So the next question comes to you from our buddy Mark Barris.
All right.
Question plus account level question. If I manage an AdWords account for a client that has lots of disapproved ads, can that affect the status of the GBP profiles that I manage with the same email?
Short answer is yes. Basically, any kind of infractions that you make with that email address can flow into your Google Business Profile being suspended. I just had a client this morning email me. They were doing a ton of edits on competitors. Like we're talking about like editing the name of the competitor 5, 6, 7 times a day, right?
Why? Were they trying to like take them down, or were the names really incorrect?
No, the names were incorrect. They were stuffing their names.
Okay.
Yeah, they were definitely stuffing it. But either way, it's like, the golden rule of thumb is if you're going to do suggested edits, never use your own Google account, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, a lot of people hire us to do the spam work because they don't want to get their accounts banned anyway. But yeah, so his Google account got hit, which actually affected his AdWords account because it's the same email and GBPs. So they get suspended as well. So the short answer is yes, you can absolutely affect your GBPs if that account gets suspended. The cool, interesting thing, and it's not cool actually, about AdWords is when your AdWords account gets suspended, they sometimes will not send you an email. You won't even know it. All of a sudden, all your Google business profiles just go dark. See it all the time.
Well, I don't know why I'm doing that when I can do this.
Right? All right. Okay. You have a question from Jackson Engel. If a past client / lead contacts you through your local service ads and you are charged for it, are you able to dispute it with Google? Ooh.
You can dispute it, but you have the burden of proof. Like if a lead contacts you and it's the first time a lead contacts you, you're going to have to pay for it. But if you've already had conversations with somebody and they're coming back to talk to you, then you can usually dispute it. Now, sometimes you have problems there. I'm not going to lie. It's not a perfect situation, but yes, you can dispute it.
Yeah. The only thing I would say to that is you need to train the intake people. Have them cross-reference the phone number that the user is calling from with a CRM database. And if it is somebody who's an existing customer or basically, or client lead, whatever it is, then they should say that because it will get recorded. And then when the person or AI is listening to the call, they can hear that basically, and they'll give you a better chance of disputing.
And Jackson's double dipping with another question, so I'll ask you. And oh wait, I don't think it's related, but still,
no, it's a separate question.
Separate question. Jackson's taking Christie's example from earlier and double dipping and monopolizing time. Kind of. So
wait a minute, hold on. We're saying that Jackson might be an anonymous attendee, but today he's not anonymous.
Well, we actually have a question from Anonymous after this.
Exactly.
So it's kind of fishy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're all trying to throw us off so that we can't figure out who it is. I don't know. But
I
Jackson's
think they
question
all. I
number
think they.
two
Yeah.
is we have had a couple of GVPs get verified by email recently, and they have not been suspended. Both are service area businesses. We have seen this in the past with email phone verification, but they typically get suspended and require more verification within a few days. Do you think email verification for SABs might become more common?
HE double stock hockey sticks. No. SABs are the biggest form of spam on Google. As a matter of fact, video verification was, for the most part, created because of SABs. And so you're just freaking lucky.
Yep.
Okay. The only way that you get email phone verification these days is if you're not in a restricted category, like real estate, HVAC, garage door, locksmith, or there's a trust level on your account or a trust level of the new profile for many different reasons. That's why you're getting that. But no, it has nothing to do with it, and also doesn't have anything to do with not being suspended. Actually, I'm kind of curious, Jackson, since you're here, what was the category? What's the vertical? Since you're triple dipping. Question for Jackson Engel.
Jackson, you still around, buddy? Maybe Jackson.
Oh, there he goes. All right.
Hunting.
Yeah. Okay.
Dog breeder.
Okay. Yeah. So, hunting area and dog breeder. No, those are not arrest categories. So that's why it's going through like that. Yeah. Normal. Okay.
Yep.
All right, my friend. Well, anonymous attendee has reared their ugly head. Well, actually, they're anonymous. We don't know if they're ugly. So they've reared their heads, and they are here now. We know it's not Jackson. So just got to say, here's a question for you from anonymous attendee. A business GBP that I manage has been suspended for suspicious activity. Oh, no. I can only edit some of the general info and edit profile. It looks like most of the listing photos were deleted, but I can't access. You actually can't access them. They're an HVAC company, and Google will not tell me what the suspicious activity was. Of course, Google support has stopped responding to my emails. Any ideas?
So, anonymous, Google support's never going to tell you what you did wrong. Like, that would be way too easy for the spammers to figure out how to spam the heck out of everything. So, suspicious activity could be completely unrelated to the profile. It could be related to the profile. I would like to ask some clarification questions, but since you asked anonymously, I'm doubting. I don't think you can chat anonymously, so I'm not sure where we go from here.
I'm not sure. I think they can actually chat.
Can you chat anonymously?
I believe so. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure on that. Oh, okay. To you, they can chat.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, but if it's just to you, that can work.
But, like, you can get an account level suspension for suspicious activity. So it could be, well, I mean, like we were just talking about this with the ad account causing a suspension, but it could be you have multiple accounts on the profile and one of the other profile, or multiple profiles on the account, and one of the other profiles, you're doing something suspicious enough that they suspend everything that profile is connected to. So it may not have anything specifically to do with that HVAC profile, but HVAC is a duress category, so it's more likely it probably is something with it. Check to see if it's a legit profile. Like, are they using someone's home residential address to try to set up different locations outside of where they're actually located? Could be any of that. Again, really hard to say without knowing more.
Yeah. Suspicious activity can be making multiple edits at the same time.
Yeah.
in a space of a minute, right? It could be logging in India and logging in then in the United States. So, but like Greg is saying, that Google's never going to tell you what he did. You're just going to have to figure it out yourself, basically. As far as that's right, you can breathe on the profile too hard, and there it goes. It's gone. So, but also on top of it, it's an HVAC company, so almost guaranteed they're probably setting up like these profiles at home. They're probably trying to set up multiple profiles too that cause suspicious activity, spam. When Google stops responding to your emails, that's actually bad, by the way. That means that there might actually be something really serious going on. So what you really need to do is you need to go to Google support and do an appeal. If that doesn't work, you could always come to the product expert community, include as much detail as possible, including any kind of proof you've tried to give them. Go for the reinstatement first. If it fails, come to the community.
There we go. And that takes us to, we got a couple minutes left. Mike's got a question for you. Mike had a client write a positive review with praise about the website that Mike built her. However, it doesn't show in Mike's profile. He contacted Google support and they gave a generic policy answer saying that it may not meet Google standards. There's nothing wrong with the review that he can see. How can he escalate it to get it to show?
All right, Mike, good question. So a lot of people see this. They can deny reviews for so many different reasons that we're just not going to touch it right now. All I can say is you have two things to do. One is go to the Google Get Help form, support form, basically, and then you're going to type in missing review into the question. You're going to select missing review, basically, as the chip, and then you're going to move and contact support and give them a screenshot of the review that was left for you. Very important, by the way. And then, never mind. You're saying that they gave a generic answer. Skip all that. Go straight to the Google Business Profile community. Give us the screenshot. Give us the information about your profile, of course. We'll send it up to Google. We'll ask them if they can retrieve it. And if they can, they will. If they won't, they won't. Period.
Pretty easy.
Yep. All right. Melissa has a question for you, my friend. How long does it take for a GBP listing marked as permanently closed to disappear from search results? We have practices marked as closed years ago, and they're still showing, and it's challenging. Thanks.
I don't actually know that there's a specific timeline for once you mark it permanently closed that it's definitely gone. But if it's been years, I would definitely talk to support about that or go to the forum. Because if it's been years and they're still showing in search results, that's definitely wrong.
There's something going on there. Because they'll fall off sometimes depending on the category, right? Like if it's an HVAC, it'll fall off in 72 hours. If it's like a McDonald's, it's probably going to hang out for a very long time. So, all right, cool.
We got time for one more. We're gonna skip the question from Anonymous because you know what? I'm gonna read it just for
do it.
Poops and giggles.
All right.
I'm pretty sure this is not our normal buddy Anonymous, and this is a different buddy Anonymous. Hello. Can you recommend a good method to earn some money that is not saturated and not labor intensive? I'm considering some loyalty marketing or AI services thing. In other words, I want to scam some people out of some money and not have to do work to make that money. What should they do?
Exactly. What should you do? Go get a job. Go work for somebody. I don't know, man. I saw a funny TikTok the other day. I forget exactly who it was. Oh, yeah, no, I know. It was Mark Cuban, right? And he was ripping on people who set up these use AI and make $1,000 a day. Sign up for my course for $20, and it was super hilarious because he's like, why the hell are you going to make these guys money?
Yeah.
He's like, why should somebody pay you $20 to learn about what's something that you're teaching thousands of other people to do? Now you're creating thousands of competitors for them. So anyway, the short answer is, look, Making money is labor intensive. Making money is in saturated markets. It just is. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You might not have a lot of business experience, so we'll just tell you this. While it's all nice and good to have a side hustle, as Mr. Mockbow says, the fact is that start up a real business and solve real problems. Don't go for the super easy, not super labor intensive, I'm going to go lay around on the street kind of thing, or beach or whatever it is. Do something that people need. Help people, and you'll make money.
And with that, we're out of time. But Steven asked one last quick question about where you have the social links on GBP. It's under the contact info area. So just go in there. And that is it for this week's episode.
Sweet.
Or show, or whatever we call it. I don't know if we ever came up. I don't know. Anyway, everyone enjoy the holiday weekend for those of you that are here in the U.S. And if you're out of the U.S., enjoy your regular weekend. And I will not see you in 2 weeks because I'll be in Brighton. But
yes, you will. Yes, you will.
But Ben will be here
time
with probably Amy.
Probably Amy. Yes, she is becoming my total co-host. Okay, so you know what I need you to do right now, my friend, is I need you to go ahead and fill up this time with some talking. Can you talk a little bit?
I can talk a little bit. For everybody that is here in the U.S., we did mention that Local U is coming soon. It's in Toronto. It's a little bit of a haul to get up there, but it looks like an incredible event. A lot of really awesome speakers. I am super bummed I can't go because I really wanted to go hang out with my buddy Darren Shaw because I haven't seen him in years, but I'm not going to be able to go because I'm traveling too much. Speaking of all the traveling I am doing, and for everyone that is here in the United States, you should seriously consider going to Brighton SEO this November in San Diego. They are bringing Brighton SEO over from the UK to the United States. It is my favorite conference in the entire world, and I do a lot of conference speaking all over the planet. Definitely consider checking it out. They do have some pretty killer local SEO sessions lined up already. They've got an amazing lineup of speakers, and I will be teaching an all-day local SEO training course the day before the conference that you can sign up for. So if you really want to jumpstart your career in local SEO or your knowledge in local SEO, you should really think about coming to Brighton SEO and doing my training course there in San Diego.
Dude, I was just thinking about something. We're going to both be at Disney next week.
Yeah.
Right? So what we should totally do is I'll just record something on TikTok or you do it on TikTok and then we do a duet.
That could be fun, except I don't have TikTok.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind that.
And I like how Trisha, man, I wish my life was this easy. Trisha says she already has another conference in November. Trisha, I've got a conference every week from now until November. So saying that you have a conference in November is no excuse not to go to a conference.
That is
and with that,
100% correct.
We are done, and we will see everyone soon. Thanks for coming again.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Hey, if you're in the United States, have a great long weekend and be safe.
See ya.
All right. Bye all.